And given that data is a must-have, the role of CDO is also evolving. In your experience, how have you seen the role of CDO evolve over the past few years? And how do you see it evolving over the next few years?
The role is certainly evolving, right? So when early CDOs were appointed, it tended to be what MIT refers to as a defensive position, right? So it was really around roles in a bank or other organizations that focused on data privacy, data security, data quality, fundamental data governance. It was really focused on the internal aspects of the organization. I think if we look at what's happening today, most CDOs today are really focused on how to use data to benefit the organization, increase revenue, build new businesses within the organization around the data. So it's really putting it on the offense as opposed to the defense. And so I think that transformation started a year or so ago, where CDOs that were being appointed were really looking for ways to use data as a differentiator, less so on some of the fundamentals. I think if we look forward, not only will we see significantly more CDOs in organizations, I mean, Gartner is forecasting that within the next few years, nearly 80% of the global organizations will have a formal CDO within the organization. I think we're on that trajectory. We're seeing a lot more CDOs appointed within state governments, within the federal government, within most organizations. And so I think it's going to be pretty pervasive across organizations. And I think the role will continue to evolve, where it actually will be a role that is a senior level role. I think that's the other thing that has changed, is that even though it had the chief data officer title, I think in many organizations, it was really middle management, or kind of a role that had the title, but didn't really kind of, a lot of times people use the phrase sit at the table, right? It wasn't really a role that was on par with the chief information officer, the chief marketing officer. I see a significant change in that today, where we are seeing more CDOs that are peers and actually reporting to the chief executive officer, and their peers to other chief roles within the organization, and really representing data as a key component of the organization. So I think that's going to continue to change over the next several years, and data continues to have more of an impact in the future of organizations.
And given the fact that the role of CDO, like you said, is continuing to evolve, if somebody who's just stepping into the role of a CDO currently were to come to you for advice, what would be your suggestion to them?
Yeah, and I do have an opportunity to mentor a number of folks that are either early CDOs, or folks that have a passion around data and analytics that are interested in becoming a CDO. And my advice to them is typically to really make sure that they have a good business and technology experience. So as they build up their skills, don't focus exclusively on technical skills, but also focus on business skills, because a true CDO is one that kind of balances between having discussions with the senior executives of an organization around the business impact of the data, and then also having discussions with data scientists and data architects around understanding and helping to design how the data gets implemented within the organization at a more technical level. I do see some folks that they've started in a data profession, like they're a data architect, or they've started as data modeler and then moved into data architect, and they have the aspiration of becoming a CDO, but they really have spent most of their career more in a technical realm. And so that's where the advice is, just make sure that in addition to the technical experience, that they also have an opportunity to really understand the key drivers from a business perspective as well. So how data is going to make a difference to the organization, how those questions are going to be answered. That's critically important in that journey to become a CDO.
And those are great points, Mark. I think for anybody who's working in the data and analytics field, this provides a lot of food for thought. I'm glad we covered some very important points from your experience implementing a big data platform to now the role of services and the increasing conversations around cloud computing to what we are looking forward to in the next few years in this field. Thank you so much, Mark, for taking out time for this conversation. And thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
Yeah, thanks, Manak.